So Jensen Ackles bulked up big time for his role as Soidler Boy in season 3 of The Boys. He's looking way bigger than last time we saw him playing the infamous Dean Winchester in the final season of Supernatural. In this video, I'll be breaking down how Jensen bulked up for Soidler Boy, how you should eat and train to get the same beefy, tough guy kind of look. I'll be talking about Jensen's steroid use, and at the end of the video, I'll be supplying you with your very own Soidler Boy training program so you can bulk up just like him. So of course, most people know Jensen from his hit show Supernatural, which ran for a crazy 15 seasons. But his character Dean Winchester wasn't really a super built guy. He had more of a boy toy, heartthrob kind of physique. A little bit of abs and not much of anything else when it came to muscle mass. But about a year ago, a video surfaced of Jensen training for his role as Soidler Boy on The Boys. And he was looking pretty big. In this video he shared, you can see how much his shoulders and traps have developed since we saw him in Supernatural. Now, did Jensen get shredded? No, but he looks strong, intimidating, and capable, which is perfect for the role of Soidler Boy if you ask me. So Jensen was told he needed to beef up and hit the gym. So he spent countless hours working out, but it turns out there might have been an easier way.
I was told to beef up. And so I worked out like a madman. And then I get to set, and Anthony's like, "Why didn't you just tell him to add muscles to the suit, bro?" And it just deflated me.
Okay, so jokes aside, how did he pack on all this size? Well, Jensen has actually shared very little information about his workout and diet plan for The Boys. But luckily, it's really easy to reverse engineer what he did to build this kind of physique just by looking at how his body has changed since his Supernatural days. Now, of course, Jensen's physique for Supernatural fluctuated quite a bit over the years. Sometimes he was a little more cut, sometimes he was a bit bulkier, but he never really had much noticeable muscle mass. Now you can see for Soidler Boy, he's not only put on a lot of muscle, but he's also put on a good amount of fat as well. The main thing that really jumps out at you about Jensen's Soidler Boy physique are his well-developed shoulders, traps, and lats. His physique really reminds me of Tom Hardy's for Bane. This combination of huge traps, delts, and lats, plus a higher body fat percentage, makes for a body that not only looks intimidating, but one that would actually be capable of doing some heavy lifting. See, most of the time, actors work to build muscles that give them the classic superhero look and V-taper. So they heavily focus on the lats, arms, lateral delts, and upper chest. And then they also get super lean so that everything pops and they have abs. But the funny thing is, even though they're very aesthetic and look like they have a lot of muscle mass, they're going to be a lot weaker than someone who actually trains the muscles that are responsible for creating power. These muscle groups would be the legs, glutes, traps, forearms, lats, and the upper and lower back. Let's put it this way. If I had to choose between fighting a guy that had capped shoulders and abs, or a guy with a huge ass, big forearms, and big traps, I'm picking to fight the guy with abs every time. I actually really like this bulky, strong physique because of the level of physical presence it gives you. So how do you build this type of strong, capable looking physique? Well, believe it or not, you lift heavy shit and eat a lot of food. Crazy, right? But it's a little more complex than that, so I'm gonna break it down for you starting with the diet, since you're not gonna be building anything without some high quality fuel. Since the goal with the Soidler Boy physique is to really bulk up, get super strong, and put on a lot of mass, you're gonna wanna be in a fairly heavy caloric surplus, meaning that you're gonna want to be eating more calories than you're burning each day, so that your body has extra fuel to build muscle. We'll talk about exactly how many calories you're gonna need in a second. Using a larger calorie surplus will lead to a little bit of extra fat gain, but it'll also make sure you're not leaving any potential muscle gains on the table. But even though you'll put on a little bit of fat, there's definitely some benefits to being at a slightly higher body fat percentage, especially when it comes to strength. Naturally, when your body fat percentage goes up, your overall body weight is going to go up, assuming you're still training and gaining this body fat from being in a calorie surplus, not just from being inactive. And being at a heavy body weight means you'll be much stronger. You can see this effect clearly in strength sports like powerlifting and Olympic weightlifting. Those in the heavier weight classes almost always lift more than those in the lighter ones. But how many calories exactly should you be eating, and what type of food should you get those calories from? I would start by eating in a 300 to 500 calorie surplus and slowly increasing it until you're gaining about 0.5% of your body weight per week, and then continuing this until your body fat reaches the range of 15 to 20%, at which point you'll want to decrease the calorie surplus to around 100 to 200 calories a day so you can continue to put on muscle without getting too fat. The goal of this physique is to look big and built, not look overweight. So that covers calories, but what should you actually be eating? Well, as always, you should be focused on minimizing processed foods in your diet and eating as many whole foods as possible. In terms of where you're getting your calories from, first, you want to make sure you're eating 1 gram of protein per pound of body mass per day. This will make sure your body has all the protein it needs to maximize muscle growth. After this, you'll want to have your fat intake at 0.4 of a gram per pound of body mass. Having a baseline level of fat in your diet is very important for proper hormone production and regulation, so you don't want your dietary fats getting too low. Also, fats are very high calorie, containing 9 calories per gram versus carbs and protein, which only contain 4 calories per gram. So eating more fats can help if you have a hard time eating a lot of food because they're more dense in calories. But after a certain level of daily consumption, the benefits of fats and proteins fall off. So we want to round out the diet with our third macronutrient, carbohydrates. Carbs are magical when it comes to building muscle. A big reason for this is when you eat carbs, your body releases insulin, which is actually a very anabolic hormone, meaning it's a hormone that makes you build muscle. Modern bodybuilders actually take insulin to get their physiques to the insane heights that we see on the pro stage. In addition to this, carbs are the main thing that actually fuel your workouts. After eating carbs, your body stores some of them in your skeletal muscles in the form of glycogen. Glycogen is the fuel your muscles use to power the contractions that let you actually lift weights. Since glycogen is a finite resource, it of course gets depleted as you train, and it needs to be replenished before you can train hard again. So by eating a high carb diet, you'll make sure your muscles are always topped up with glycogen and always ready to perform at their best. So once you set your daily protein and fat intake at the levels we talked about earlier, simply fill out the rest of your calories with carbs. If all this talk of calories, macronutrients, and tracking them is confusing or new to you, and if you want me to make a video on how to track your diet to maximize muscle growth, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment "Let's Track" down below. So that's the type of diet you're going to want to follow if you want to bulk up like Jensen. But how should you actually be training to put all those calories to use? Like I said before, if you want to get this beefy strongman kind of look, you'll want to focus on training your whole back, shoulders, traps, forearms, and legs. Luckily, all these muscle groups can easily be trained just by doing standard heavy barbell movements like squats, deadlifts, and shoulder press. Deadlifts will work your whole posterior chain, giving you thick legs and a turtle shell back. Squats will not only build your legs and glutes, but also thicken up your traps and back. And of course, the shoulder press will do a ton for your shoulders and triceps. These big compound movements also have the benefit of not only making you look huge and powerful, but you'll actually get insanely strong using them in combination with the rest of the program that I'll be laying out. Another exercise crucial for building the traps, lateral shoulders, and forearms are heavy farmer's carries. If you don't know what a farmer's carry is, it's just when you take 2 heavy weights and carry them around. It's pretty simple. Doing these carries will also add a lot of strength and size to your forearms, which will help you out big time during your deadlifts. After adding the big compound lifts and carries to your program, you'll want to round it out with some accessory movements. Shrugs to build the traps, lat pull downs for the lats, dumbbell bench press for the chest, and of course, dumbbell lateral raises to make your shoulders really pop out and look wide. Last quick note about training. Since the forearms, traps, and delts are all slow twitch dominant muscles, you want to train them using higher reps when doing the accessory movements that specifically target them. So before I give you your own Soidler Boy training program, we need to talk about if this is a physique that is naturally attainable, and if I think Jensen was taking steroids for his transformation. Right off the bat, I'll say Jensen's Soidler Boy physique is 100% attainable naturally. He's got a solid amount of muscle mass, but it's not like he's crazy big, and it's not like he's crazy lean. So if you want this kind of look, as long as you train hard, eat enough, and be patient, you'll definitely get there, assuming you have at least average genetics. But just because the physique is naturally attainable, that doesn't necessarily mean Jensen attained it naturally. One of the big things you need to look at when you're trying to figure out if someone did their transformation naturally is the amount of time it took to build their physique. You can only build muscle mass so quickly, especially when you're natural. So if Jensen went from this to this in something like only 2 months, I would be getting a little bit suspicious that he took something. But while we don't have hard dates for how long Jensen trained to play Soidler Boy, my best guess would be that he trained for a little bit under a year for the role. I'm basing this off the fact that in an interview, he said he had to train during COVID lockdowns, which in most places in the States started around March of 2020, and filming for the boys started in February of 2021. Now, building that much muscle mass in a year is definitely impressive, but going off what he said on social media about superhero workouts being no joke and how they made him gain respect for people like Stephen Amell, it seems like he's never really trained hard in the gym before, meaning he'd be able to benefit a lot from newbie gains. Newbie gains is a phenomenon where you build a lot more muscle in your first year of serious lifting than in any subsequent year. So that would definitely help him pack on a lot of size in a relatively short amount of time. But another thing to consider is that Jensen is getting up there in age. He's 44, plus he has a family, meaning that he probably doesn't have all the time and energy in the world to focus on his training. So all in all, I think Jensen could have definitely done this transformation naturally, assuming that he did have a year to train and took it seriously. But I also wouldn't be surprised if I found out that he took the slightly easier path and went to a doctor to get some testosterone replacement therapy to speed things up. Let me know what you think. And now here's the Soidler Boy training plan that you can follow. It's a 4-day-a-week push-pull training plan. Make sure to use weights for each movement that leave you with only 1 to 3 good reps left in the tank by the end of the set. And now go watch my video on Chris Hemsworth where I break down program design so you know how to progress with your new program. I'll see you there.